So welcome back to this part 3 of reviving the old ATV. And in this part I would like to dismount this battery holder case because I think it needs some new painting, and see if we can renovate that a little bit. Okay, I got it off. There were some pretty long screws that sit in there, and I can see that one of them is also holding this back bracket here, so I'll need to force that into place again. But this one needs a new painting. I'll sand it down and maybe give it some powder coating. I would like to try out that process as well. So next step is to get this cleaned up, and then on the side here I want to mount this circuit breaker, a big key that I bought. I can paste in the picture here, and I will need to again make some mount for that to the casing here. So stay tuned. So I took some measures of the main switch, the diameter of the ring, and how this slotted indent should be, and the width of that. So I fired up Fusion 360. I created a new design that I called main switch mount, and I made a sketch with some of the numbers in here, the 23 for the actual mount to go in. I made some corner screw holes and made the walls a little thicker here, 1.5 millimeters. Just marked out the circle of the main switch, and then I extruded from that the surface, and then the body itself, where you can see just took this surface here. Actually, I can see I forgot a small point over here, but that doesn't matter for the print. Okay, created another sketch on the side here and extruded some holes for the wires to go out, plus and minus to the battery. Or actually, you'll just feed the plus wire through here, so let the ground or minus be on the ATV, and then feed the main source, the plus power, into the switch. And then I rounded some corners and exported it as an STL up here. Save as mesh, it's called in Fusion. Save the STL. And also I made a sketch here for the template for drilling, or just marking the holes for drilling in the battery case itself. I loaded the model up in flash print for my printer. I started slicing and exported that, just checking the infill here, seems okay, and saved that to an SD card and went to the printer to print it. Started the printer, selected the file to print, and just print. And about 4.5 hours later, 4 hours and 15 minutes, the part is ready. I took it out. It came out pretty nice for my part, or for my use, so I'll go with that. So the main switch fits nicely into the slot, and I mounted with some screws in here, just a test mount at the moment to see if it fits. Everything fits. So main switch test mounted and ready to go. So again, looking at the battery casing, the mount here, I just cut off this extra bracket that is on top here, because it's you need to get it all the way in there and unscrew these screws every time you need to unmount the battery. So I took this one off, and the idea is then to mount one of these rubber bands here instead, so that the battery sits in here and because of this small outlet here, it needs to sit here in the front. And then with these trailer rubber bands here, I'll mount this on the side and on the other side as well to keep the battery inside here. And also the front plate comes on here, so that should keep it tight and sitting there, even though I'm racing on the ATV. So, and then of course the main switch I want to mount here on the side. And I just made a small template, you could say, this one here, that I then used just to mark the spot where I'm going to drill. But unfortunately I didn't make these holes very big, so when this marker goes in there, it just breaks off. But I managed to get some small dents in here, so now I can go and drill the holes for that, and I'll drill the holes for this small knob here as well. So I'll go to the drill and make these holes. So got this one mounted here, and I'm thinking it needs to be tight, so it goes in here somewhere, maybe just below. So there will be some tightening of this rubber band, so it can go all the way down here somewhere. Just figuring out, maybe a little higher up here. Like that. Take the battery out so we don't drill into that. And then I just want to clean up those small craters. So let me get the grinder. Then I just want to take away some of this material so that the battery can fit totally inside. So I'll just cut a corner there. Okay, and then I just want to clean up the things in here, small dents and the stuff. Yes, nice and tight. And then the front plate will also go on here. So now it's ready for sandblasting. This piece I already done. It's kind of rough in the surface here, so maybe I'll have to sand that down a little bit more before the powder coating. So, but now this box goes in the sandblaster. Okay, so the battery box goes in the sandblaster. Closing the lid. Putting on my gloves. And ready to sandblast. Here goes the powder gun. I've never tried this one before, so it's a little exciting if I'm going to manage. I don't know how to put this one on. Like this maybe. Hopefully everything works. Power on. And then I have this foot switch down here. So I'll give it a go. See if it works. Ignition is on. I don't know how big a layer I need to put on this. Oh, maybe I shouldn't touch it at the same time. And then again. Okay, I think I will try with that. You need some sort of suction out here as well, but I'll do that for the next one. So hopefully this works. And we're going to put it in the oven. Looks pretty good. See if we can get it up here in the oven. 210 degrees, I think, until it melts. And then just let it sit. So I'll see if I can fire this oven up. This is just a test on the first one. Okay, convection. So we'll let it heat. Yeah, so the oven supposedly is at, just a minute ago it was standard, yeah. So around 9 minutes before it reaches the 210 degrees. That's not a very powerful oven, so I'll just take a sneak peek. See if I can see anything. No? It's really tough to see if it's floating now. We'll continue. So after 15 minutes, that's 5 minutes at 210, I hope. Just want to see if I can see anything in here. It's really hard to see if it's floating or not. I think it is. Give it 5 more minutes. So after 5 more minutes, just want to check again if it seems to be okay. Maybe I can scratch a little over here. It seems pretty hard. I cannot scratch the surface, so I guess it's okay. So I think I'll just let it rest here and cool down so I can get it out. So the part has cooled down now. Take it out of the oven, and it actually came out pretty nice. Nice smooth surface here on this matte black. There's some small marks on the back here, but I might have given it a little more powder before curing, but I'll do that for the next part. So overall, I'm satisfied with this process, and maybe I could have given it a little more in the oven, but this one seems to be enough. So for the next part that is a little bit bigger, maybe I'll give that half an hour, including the heat up time. So first part ready. So for this next part, I'll have the vacuum cleaner running, so it'll be a little noisy. So sits in the oven, hangs in the oven, doesn't touch underneath. So again, just firing up the oven and let it sit there for half an hour. So half an hour has passed and the part is out of the oven and came out pretty nice. Of course there's some miscolorations or small dents or whatever but the piece was not totally clean before that, so I think this is okay for a casing for the battery that just sits on the back of the ATV. So let me mount the battery and see if everything fits as it's supposed to. So that is the end result. The rubber strap, the on-off key. I'll of course mount the rest of the screws here, but I need to put the wires in first. So powder coated, renovated battery casing. This one goes back on the ATV in just a moment. So I managed to get it on. Took a little while. And then tighten it good here. And then I can see it's a little bit bent, so I'll just get it straight. And then onto the wires here. I think I'll just unwind this tape here to see how everything is connected in here. See if I can get it looped into the ignition key. So I managed to cut the wire. Then I didn't have any red wire, but this is brown and compared to the green, so it will do for the plus. hooked it into the ignition switch here, and this is going to be mounted here. But first I need to mount the main switch to the box first. So the main switch is mounted, sits good and tight, and the wires are ready for the battery. Slides in here, slides in here. Okay, and then this is the plus, goes over here. Cover goes on here, cover is on, and then for the battery, plus is in here, and then this rubber band here can go on top here, and just tighten it over here. So that keeps the battery good and tight, and we're ready for testing it. All that's left now is to pour some gasoline and see if all my efforts was worth it. So filling some gas. Okay, so let's take it outside and see if it can start. So main switch on. Gasoline on. Seems to be flowing. The cup here is being filled up. That's beautiful. See if I can let some of the air out from this cup. There you go. Ignition on. We need to activate the brake here. We don't need the fan yet. Like this. This is in loose position. Choker on. Let's see if it will start. So this will be a cliffhanger if you ever get it started. So I struggled for some time to get it started, but after fixing some other things that were wrong, eventually I did. And here's a small boiler for what's going on in part 4. Thank you for watching.